Kali Training Journal, Day 221, Kali Body Movement. Today's practice was inspired by Primal Movement by the Kali Center, or really Paul Ingram. And I'm going to go ahead and include those links in the description. So go ahead and check those out. And by my training in Kuntao Silat under Guru Kobe Bach with Iron Fire Martial Arts. So you're going to see a little bit different practice today, and you're going to see me more connecting with slow movement, feeling and touching the earth, and really just taking my time, warming up my body to get into the Kali practice. With me being in the middle and almost at the end of a 72-hour fast, I have really been wanting to focus time spending in nature and really connecting with the earth and my environment, and just slowing down and refocusing on being intentional about my movement, my activities, and what I'm choosing to do day in and day out to really reinforce the value and the importance of connecting with yourself, connecting with nature, and making sure that you're in alignment with your path and where you want to go. So that's what I've been focusing on specifically this weekend in my practices. Another part of this was really making sure that my body is healthy and strong. Simply doing Kali and martial art practice is not enough to make sure that you have a strong and able physical body that is aging well and able to maintain the health in the muscles, the joints, the tendons, the ligaments, the activity with the digestive system, and all of the organs and functions that your body naturally does as part of just being a body. This was also about brain, mental, emotional health as well. Doing these moments requires your brain to think just a little bit different. The movements that I did in today's practice to warm up were not natural movements that we do on a daily basis. As society and people have developed and changed and modernized, we have also moved away from these basic natural movements of the body that we no longer actively do. Now, this is great in one respect because we have developed and changed, and we have really created a society of communities and jobs and economy and so many other things that have been good for us. However, moving away from these primal movements have also created challenges in our bodies that we didn't used to have. So as a society develops and changes and adjusts to whatever is going on at the time, we improve, but we also move backwards in some areas. Or I guess rather than moving backwards, we're still faced with challenges, even if they change into a different kind of challenge. Recently, I've also really been wanting to focus more on making sure that my body ages gracefully. It's no surprise, time doesn't stop, right? This year, I will be turning 47, and when I was a kid, I used to be so terrified of getting old. I would see older people that would have, 2 or 3 different pill sorter boxes containing 1 or 2 sets of different pills to be taken every day, morning and night, sometimes morning, afternoon, and night, And I was just so terrified of that, of getting old and not being able to function and not being able to move. And I just felt like when somebody reached the age of 50, that they were really at their prime. You know, they'd lived some life, they had children, maybe grandchildren, but they had lived some life. And I just saw 50 as being just a prime age, and that after 50, health begins to decline. Now, whether this was true or not, this is what I thought and what my thought process was as a child and into my teenage years. And so part of what I did as a teenager was I stayed very active. I didn't get a car, I don't think, until I was almost 17, something like that. And I just was very physically active. I walked everywhere. Sometimes I would ride a bike. I took the bus. I did Kalinetics from the time I was, I think, about 13 until about 16. I did Kalinetics on a regular basis, probably 3 to 4 times a week I was doing Kalinetics. And then after that, I started to get into working out in the gym about the age of 18, 19. I really gained a passion and love for working out in the gym. So I did that for a while. And then I started mixing in other things, Pilates and yoga. And then at the age of 27, I got a fitness instructor certification. Now, why am I telling you all this? Why does this even matter? Because as we age, it's important to make sure that we are taking care of our bodies, whatever stage we're in, whether we are young children, teenagers, adults, early adults, middle-aged adults, mature adults, whatever age you're in, whatever stage of life you're in, you have to find something for you that supports your body aging. And one of the things that I have really loved about my martial arts journey is that martial arts focuses so much on our physical health and well-being, because this is the only body you're ever going to have. Now, whatever that means for you, thinking about this family member that had a child that was in a really bad accident, her son now has a rod in his neck. He's got all these things that he has to recover from. And it just kind of made me think, like, how well am I taking care of my body? How much do I value my body and what I'm putting into it physically, mentally, emotionally? Because all of that has started to change since I started Kali last June. So June 2025. And the more I practice Kali, the more healthy things, experiences, intake my body wants and craves. And it's really this, especially over this weekend, it's really been brought to my attention that I need to be more conscious about my physical activity, how I'm taking care of my body, how much I am or am not eating, and what I'm eating. Not in a way of, I don't believe I'm fat, I don't believe I'm overweight, but whatever I'm putting into it is going to produce whatever the output is and whatever my body can handle. Whatever exertion or activity I put my body through. So just being more aware of this. In regards to my age, I really feel like I'm taking better care of my body, in part because I'm participating in martial arts, but also because of how the martial arts have impacted me mentally, emotionally, in my confidence, in my desire to take better care of my body. And that is something that really hit me hard after the training in Michigan, was What am I doing to my body? And what have I done to it over the last 10 years that has gotten it to where it is right now, today, good, bad, or ugly? And how can I make sure that I have a healthy body so that I can be happy living into long age? Thank you so much for watching. And if you've made it to the end, you deserve a gold star. We'll see you next time.